This is the Jan Spiller Show, live every Tuesday night. For life advice using your personal astrology chart, call toll-free 877-242-8212. You can ask about anything: love, money, your job, relationships. Find out what your best path of action is. And now, here's Jan Spiller.
Yes, welcome back to the Jan Spiller Show. You know, Jan, there's been a lot of sports figures in the news lately. It's amazing. Steinbrenner, who passed away, great guy in terms of what he did for the New York Yankees. LeBron, is that he's a basketball guy, right?
Yeah.
That's how much I know.
Yeah, everything's, Steinbrenner, that's a very sad passing for those of us who live in New York City and for all the Yankees fans. And, someone mentioned earlier, and I think it's true, that if he were still alive and at the helm, LeBron may have well come to New York.
Oh, really? That might be true, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was even an interview with somebody for the Red Sox. Is that the Boston baseball team? And they said they really love Steinbrenner.
Wow.
So, he's known all over the board.
There is a certain loyalty that New Yorkers feel for one another and for the people that make their city, And, personally, I didn't particularly like the guy. I didn't like his tactics, but he got the job done.
He certainly he certainly did get the job done.
And here in New York City, that's a value.
Sometimes you have to be like that. He was a very good manager, very hardcore, but a great manager. He understood the business of baseball.
Right.
It is a business.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Jen, your website, what is it? There's a lot of new stuff on your website. How do we get to your website? What do we do? I know there's a fountain that people have been raving about.
Yeah, there are a lot of free features on the site, Frank. Like there's the power wishing fountain, and you can make, it combines the idea of the power of the community with the individual. So when you wish in the wishing well, and there are just instructions for how to do it, you just go to janspiller.com and it'll say power wishing. So you go to the wishing well, especially on new moon power days and in those cycles, but anytime, and just type, it's all free. Just type in your wish and put the coin in the well, and you're joining with the community and the power of that to have your wish come true.
That's very interesting. And I actually saw you had last week a cup that you sell. You sell the astrological cups.
Yeah, you've seen those. Nice. You love those.
They're very nice.
Yeah, you've got one, don't you?
Yes, you gave me one last week. It was really incredible. Great cup.
Yeah, they have all the astrological signs on them.
Jen, it was a little heavy, the cup. It's a heavy cup.
It's a heavy cup. But it's well insulated,
Right, exactly. Beautiful cup, though. I mean, I haven't seen a cup like that ever. Usually
a quality cup. It's a quality. Hey, you get a Jan Spiller cup, you get a quality cup.
So basically, we can get that on your website.
Yeah.
The cups and all that. Great. Wonderful. Okay, let's see. Who do we have next? We have Natalie.
Natalie.
Yes.
Hi.
Good. Hi, Natalie. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm really wondering what's going to come about with, as far as the eclipse and where it has fallen in my chart and what you see is happening there.
Well, the eclipse falls in your seventh house, so this indicates that what it means is for the next 6 months, relationships are going to be the top thing on your mind. That's where you're going to have the most activity.
Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. All your one-to-one relationships, and that's that's really good for you. Because you have very strong relationship karma anyway. That's a major part of what you're dealing with this lifetime, one-to-one relationships. Are you married, Natalie, or not?
I'm common law. We're not really married, but we've lived together long enough to be considered common law.
Okay. Partnership, marriage, like this is a time when I think you're going to go through a lot of changes with your mate, and I don't look at them as being negative. But I think that for the last year and a half, you've had a lot of new revelations about his psychology, about your mate's psychology.
Well, I don't really know what to say about that. He's a very interesting man.
And also with your own, And also you've probably had a lot of understanding of yourself better so that you can see the things that you've been doing in that relationship that have created less than the results that you would like to create.
Yeah, Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that, yes.
So, you know, you're in a period this year between January 11th of 2010 and January 11th, 2012, where you really do feel like spending time in your relationship. I mean, you're feeling very loving and there's a desire for relationship. So I would say this is a primary time to really start taking a look at overcoming barriers inside of yourself to having the nurturing and emotional connection with your partner that you would like.
What barriers do you see?
Primarily a feeling that you need to be in control and maintain your independence.
Oh.
Does that make sense to you?
He likes me because I like to be in control, and yet at the same time, I've been really very frustrated lately because I feel like I've been spinning my wheels a lot. Not with regards to the relationship, but with the rest of my life. It's like I have a really hard time with myself. I don't know how to say it.
I think you do have, no, I understand. You do have a hard time with yourself.
I'm not very good to Natalie.
Well, you know, the problem is that being good to Natalie is a never-ending pool, never-ending pit. Like when you're trying to be good to Natalie, it never stops. It doesn't ever fill up. Do you know what I'm saying? There have been too many lifetimes of really paying attention to Natalie and being good to Natalie. And so now what you have is an insatiable need in that area.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And why do I find it so hard? It's like I'm constantly beating up on myself.
Because you're paying too much attention to yourself.
I see.
When instead you get into the other person, whether it's your life mate or whether it's any one-to-one relationship, a friendship, anyone where you become a supportive to them, then suddenly your heart opens and you become self-confident. But if you look back to see what you're getting out of it, you close down again and start, you know, it's like never enough.
Oh, yeah, I broke off a friendship last year because I realized that the person wasn't giving me what I needed, so I felt like I was giving more than they were giving back.
Well, oftentimes what you get back in relationships is not, it isn't like I give you an apple and you give me an orange. It's like I give you an apple and your pleasure from that feeds me. I mean, that's how it works for you. Does that make sense?
Could you say that again?
Okay. It isn't so much a tit-for-tat situation, like I'll give you this and you've got to give me an equivalent value. Your joy, if you look at it from in terms of your history, comes when you give the other person something selflessly, and the joy that you feel with their receptiveness of it, or the independence that you feel you've helped them create as a result of the gift, that's where you get happy. It's in selfless giving rather than giving with the expectation of an equivalent return.
I see. Yeah, I see what you mean.
I mean, we're talking about a person who's been overfed in past lifetimes. You've got too much self-confidence and independence. Does that make sense to you?
I don't know. I don't know what to say, really.
Well, like, do you feel like you're very self-reliant, more so than other people, stronger than others?
I feel like sometimes I don't even need other people, and yet at the same time, I wish that I had friends. I've been agoraphobic most of my life.
Okay.
I haven't gotten out very much. And
No, that's very real. And you know what? I want to let you know that a lot of that is you're bringing in 3 past lifetimes in with you directly, 2 very strongly. So this is a pattern that means that for a lot of this life, probably up until maybe when we're having this conversation, you've sort of relived patterns that you had no control over. And the agoraphobia, or however you pronounce that, is probably an indication of that. It's a feeling in your case of self-isolation, of feeling out of control, and thus that you have to over control everything. Very much of an isolated lifetime, and I'm not so sure you've had that many choices about this up until now, Natalie.
So you feel like I actually have a choice?
Yes, or we wouldn't be having this talk. There comes a point when you've been there, done that, and that albatross from your past life will relieve itself. It must be now, or the universe wouldn't have, this wouldn't be happening. What are the chances?
I see.
So the good news is that you can start making some choices that really weren't available to you before. And what I would suggest is that you start opening up or thinking about opening up to discover who other people are.